You want to know what guys really think and talk about behind closed doors? Look no further. Welcome to the Other Guys podcasts. You'll most likely be offended, but you'll probably laugh too. So, enjoy. Hey world, welcome to the Other Guys podcast, the podcast where anything goes. Like, what are some things that anything goes?
I mean, sometimes this goes long.
No,
but like it goes to weird places you might not expect it. Is that what you mean? Or?
No. What are some things in life where it's like, you know, you can do whatever you want? An example.
Like a video game, maybe?
That's
like Grand Theft Auto?
I was going to suggest more like, you know, when you go to a massage parlor and then you pay the extra price and they're like, anything goes?
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is like that.
And they'll give you a really good massage at that point. It's like it was better than they would have before?
Yes.
It's like they reach more nerve endings, is what you're saying?
Yes. A happy ending.
They make you happy in more than one way?
Yes. And I hope this pod ends in a happy way, because sometimes it doesn't. But
okay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't know if we can make people come at home, but I'd like to.
I
would.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that, like, if there's any equivalent to coming that I could do for you as a person who listens to this, I would definitely try.
Yes. So I think
I'm very pleased.
I think our goal is to make people come in the mind.
Yeah. I would say that.
Blow their minds. We're trying to blow their minds.
Blow their minds, and yeah, that's good. That's good, man.
Another weird thing. So for the people that are watching this on YouTube, YouTube. It's a thing.
It's a platform I've heard of.
The
Yeah.
YouTubes.
YouTubes.
What's it called? People watching this, we're actually dressed up a little bit today.
Well, Kevin was dressed up for work, and then I thought I had to match it, so I put a suit on.
Yeah, and because of that, you now look like, because you have a blazer on, you actually look more like...
I look like David Letterman right now.
Yeah, you look like you're the main... you look like the main shit.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
So I just want to ask you,
Yeah.
Big fan of yours.
Thanks
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
You're very welcome.
No.
I mean, I got a big schedule, you know.
Yeah. Me too.
Guests all the time,
yeah.
You know.
But I make time for the ones that are worth it.
I just want to know on your current project, were you concerned that it lost so much money?
Yeah.
You thought I don't ask the tough questions, Kevin?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm not. I'm just kidding around.
No.
There's no projects.
No. I I always got moves. I make moves.
You make moves, but you know projects.
Speaking about moves, Moves is not here today. He's currently pursuing. I was gonna say something more fancy, but he's working.
Yeah, Main Man Murray is basically on the down low.
Yeah, he's working, making that cheddar.
Yeah,
making moves.
Because currently this doesn't pay very much.
No, it doesn't. And
it's more of like a hobby.
It is a hobby, and I enjoy it. It's for me, it's therapy. I mean, just the other day, I was talking about my inner demons. I have said some stuff about, things.
Yeah, so I've realized that this is no longer. I should have known all along. I've been doing this podcast with you, but it's basically your excuse to get free therapy.
Pretty much.
You're like, I'm gonna corner some of my best friends.
Yes.
And I'm going to record them,
yes.
So I think that it's something legitimate, and I guess it kind of is.
Yes.
And then I force out my feelings in a way that I don't feel bad about it after, and I've relieved some sort of undue stress or heartache on my part, and then you pass it along to us, and then I have to kind of swallow it and then dissolve it. It's like almost like a kidney stone.
Yeah, but it's almost in a way, it's almost a form of liability too.
But then you do it back to us too. Like we'll say stuff.
Yeah.
I've said stuff and Murray said stuff. So
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's just like a months-long circle jerk we've been doing, right?
Pretty much. But look to break it down, we're not guys from, we're not upper echelon men. We're not from the gutter. I mean, we're dressed up pretty well today.
I'm dressed well.
We are the other guys, right? We're
Yes.
just guys that have different opinions. We're coming at things from different angles, right? We're not We're not cookie cutter men.
Yeah, we're not your typical men.
No.
We're much more nuanced than that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I wanna talk about some things today. Do you want to talk about some things?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all,
we're getting Ting.
Like,
I want to say Ting is a delicious drink. I don't know if we could get Ting to be a sponsor.
yeah, they're the good stuff.
Ting's good. Like, I don't know what it is.
Is it ginger beer or no?
No, it's from Jamaica, but it's like it's almost like Sprite if Sprite was made with actual real fruit.
Yeah. Do you know patois?
Patois.
Patois?
What's that? Like a
Wagwan.
Is it what kind of drink?
Wagwan.
I don't know what that is.
Wagwan.
No, you're not helping me at all by saying that over and over.
Do you know
again.
what I'm saying?
Patois?
Guaguan.
Garguan?
Guaguan.
Is it like mango or something? I don't know.
Okay. Do you want me to slow it down and break it down for you?
Yes.
What's going on?
Oh, what's going on?
Guaguan.
It's like remember
That's patois.
Remember that, like, when I first moved to Toronto, our one friend, Mark, used to say, so he had to say watch out so much because he's big.
Yeah.
He'd have to say chout. It's like that's like a Scarborough thing, he said.
Maybe.
It's like it's a contraction. It's like he's like, instead of saying watch out, he just goes chout, chout, chout. Like he's just like, because you have to do that so much on the subway or on like the streets every day. So it's almost like become a shorthand to get people to move.
You know what else I found? Because Mark, our buddy, I'm going to dream now, but Mark the Bonus, our buddy, from Scarborough.
I'm talking about a different Mark, though.
No, which Mark?
Same Mark.
Oh, different Mark. Okay, but he's from Scarborough, and he didn't know how to swim at the time. I don't know whether he knows how to swim now, but he didn't know how to swim at the time. And also, we had another friend named Paul, and he was from Scarborough, and he didn't know how to swim. So I just.
And you've recently moved to Scarborough in the last 8 years.
Yes, and
have you forgotten how to swim?
I don't know. I
just don't know.
I know I knew how to swim
beforehand.
Like I swam like when I was younger.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a pool in a while. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know how to float. Floating has always come pretty easy.
Floating's
to
pretty
me.
good, yeah.
But in terms, like, I remember one time I jumped, like, it might have been a couple years ago. I hadn't been swimming in a while, and then I jumped into a lake, because like I was like, oh yeah, I know how to do this thing, and then I didn't touch the ground. And was like, oh fuck, I might have forgotten how to swim. And I swam back to I kind of made my way back to the dock, and I just kind of, you know when you like just hang out, like you use the dock as like a helps you keep you up.
Sure, yeah.
So I may or may have not forgotten how to swim, but
I think you just had a bit of like anxiety there.
Possibly.
Swimming is hard though. I don't know if it's just like just me.
It's a physical activity.
I just don't know if it's me because I grew up swimming like a lot.
Yeah,
that's what my family did. We swim. We like my mom would be like, we go to my aunt's house and you swim for like hours.
Yeah,
and I used to like do laps when I was a kid for no reason. Like I was like really good at swimming, and like I did like swimming lessons every week, and like I was really good at diving. I was good at diving and and holding my breath and going underwater and everything.
Yeah.
But like just recently, since I've been an adult, I'm like every time I've gone swimming, it's like a workout.
Well, you're a bigger mass now than you were before.
But I feel it like in my muscles. It's like before it was effortless. Now it's no fun. Like I went to my aunt's cottage, I think last summer or the summer before.
Yeah.
And I'm swimming there, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I can't, like I can swim, but it just feels like the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
Like it's still like low impact, but it's just like I didn't realize that like I'm barely going anywhere.
Yeah.
I felt like I was just like what I felt like was a lot of effort got me maybe like 10 feet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like I think I used to be a much better swimmer. But as a kid it's like you wouldn't notice the effect on your muscles then. It's a bit different, right? You're lean. And now I'm like a man and it's like a chore.
With a lot of mass.
But also I float. I float like you. I float.
Yeah, buoyancy. You have buoyancy, but you just it takes more effort to move that mass. But anyways,
gonna set sail to this whale,
Yeah. Anyways, I want to talk about as I've recently started a new job and I started working there. I don't want to go into the details of the job, but I'm working and
yeah, me too. I'm the host of the show now.
When I came in, you literally had just a plain T-shirt and you put that on because of me.
Well, that's what hosts do. Like you think David Letterman's going on with like a suit all day? Yeah. He's in a T-shirt.
Right.
I think was I wearing track pants today too? Track pants, T-shirt.
In general, you wear track pants.
I think you have a problem with track pants.
I do.
I think like it's unwarranted though.
No. I think track. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Track pants
Mm-hmm.
have the name in them are for the track, or you break it down, a physical activity. If you're walking out in general public, now here's the thing: if you're going to a gym, if you're going to be doing something physically active,
Well, they're from.
100%.
I was gonna maybe go. I walked to the grocery store and I was possibly gonna go play hockey in them.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was wearing
Okay.
them. But I don't agree with your assessment that makes when if you're overweight you shouldn't wear them. I just think it's weird.
I'm not even saying overweight.
You feel like I think you told me like I've worn them like track pants before, and you're like why would you wear those? It's like that's like what like I don't know. It's like I don't think people think of you like it doesn't make you look any different.
If you go to a bar and you're wearing track pants,
Oh, I wouldn't go to maybe a bar, but
I've seen you go to pubs with track pants on.
Was this recently or
There's been numerous times.
How about this? Am I going there to strictly just eat food?
Possibly, but
So then that's all that matters.
yeah, but even in that, like, have a little dignity for yourself.
I don't think you have to worry about like people wear track pants more and more all the time now. It's not like where it used to be.
Well, hold on.
I think like the idea of like even like what's dressy. Like you look at women.
Yes.
Women wear track pants and tights all the time now.
Well, hold on. Yoga pants are a whole different ballgame.
No. I'm like basically that's what
That you can wear any day of the week.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the direct equivalent to a male wearing track pants.
No.
It is, it is.
A woman wearing track pants when she's not being physically active is her trying to show off her assets.
Or just being comfortable. I think it's all about a comfort thing, I would assume. Most women I've talked to, they don't say that like, oh, I wear these because it shows off my ass. Maybe that's part of it. Most will say, oh, I wear these because it's comfortable.
Yoga pants?
Yeah.
I
You
don't
see,
know.
like, most girls wear those now instead of
They're
jeans.
tight. They're form-fitting.
I understand that.
That can't be as
no,
comfortable.
I just, it is though.
Look, all I'm saying is this. You're a gentleman, right?
No. Yes, maybe.
look, all I'm saying is, like, I think there comes to a point in life where, like, life hits you hard, right? And, maybe you don't want to get up in the morning. Maybe you don't want to put on that tie. I'm not saying you have to dress up fully. I'm just saying if you can make the effort to put on regular pants, it shows life that you're actually making an effort. When I see you...
I just think that you have to understand, I don't think you have to understand about people.
They judge you.
No, but they might, but then either their opinion doesn't matter because they don't know you, or they don't even think about you at all. Those are like the two options, really. People that you don't know. Either they judge you, and they'll never have to interact with you, and you don't have to even think about that, or they don't think anything of you.
I'm gonna speak for the general public because I'm with the public, generally speaking. When I see a man,
I just want to see you wear some track pants, Kevin. I think you got
at the gym. Come with me.
I want to see you rock those out some
Kirk,
more.
But let me just say this for the public.
You let your hair down, man.
PSA. If I see a man, and I don't want to go into women, this is straight as a man because I'm talking about men. This is the thing. If I see a man wearing track pants, or as they say, jogging pants, and white New Balance shoes together,
yeah, is that an old guy?
your mind just went there right now.
I just think my
Now, if I see that on a young guy, if I see it on an old guy, I'm like, listen.
No, you do
near
see
the
that
end of
on
the
young
day,
people.
I'm more forgiving on the old guy because the old guy, it's like, you know what? He's lived a tough life. He's, listen, man, like, you know what? He deserves it. Fuck it. He's been through the wars. He probably fought in a war. Let him have the jogging pants and white shoes. You are still a young, viable, virile man. Now, okay, Kirk, as a single guy.
Yes.
Single guy. I want you to put yourself in the mind of a single guy. You're a single guy.
Yeah.
And I am a possible suitor. A lady. I am a woman.
I don't think I can get into this mind frame.
Okay, but here's the thing, Kirk. If I was a woman,
yeah,
and I see two guys, same exact guys. There's a guy in a $1,000 Armani suit,
like this one.
Sure, just walking down the street, strutting his stuff.
Yep, I look pretty good.
Form fitted, looking pretty good. Probably smells fucking like
a baby.
Victor and Rolf or fucking Dolce and Gabbana, whatever.
Smells like a Italian guy.
Smells like an Italian guy. Persian guy. You ever smell Persians? Persians have that scent.
Yes.
He smells like a Persian guy. Anyway, there's that guy. And then on the other corner, beside him, you have a guy sweatpants.
So you look like me.
I didn't say it, but
What do you-
sweatpants.
Yeah, sure, sweatpants.
He probably is wearing like a sweater too, because sweatpants, sweater.
Like a hoodie.
Let's go with the hoodie.
Does his hoodie say like pimp on it or something?
No. But he has mustard stains.
Does he have one of those like Bugs Bunny on the
Sure.
logos?
Sure,
Yeah,
you can have that. But he also has mustard stains.
Sure.
He probably has a 6-pack. A 6-pack of beer. Not. No, not abs. A 6-pack of beer.
Okay.
And he's just walking around.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe he's smoking.
No, like a five, and like one in the hand, like 5 in the pack.
Yeah. And he's also maybe like in the corner of his mouth, he's smoking like a Paul Mart. What's that smoke? What's that brand?
Pall Mall.
Du Maurier. You know what? I'll class him up a bit.
Du Maurier.
He's smoking a Du Maurier.
A Churchill.
A Churchill, sure. He's smoking a Churchill, and he's got a 6-pack minus the one that he's already drinking. Hair kind of disheveled, but more importantly, he's wearing track pants. Okay, so I just gave you those two men.
He's the biggest piece of shit for the track pants more than anything else, in your opinion. That's what I'm saying. I think you think too much about that.
I just gave you two men.
No, I think you just gave yourself away. You just gave yourself away because I think you think track pants is a huge deciding factor in someone's attractiveness.
Every time I've seen
someone's social standing.
Every time I've seen a man in track pants, and I'm not saying you because like so far it doesn't happen. Every time I see a man in track pants, his life was a wreck.
I could imagine that.
Like I've seen a lot. If you go down to some of the scummy neighborhoods,
yeah, no, I just think of like
crack addicts like to have track pants because easy access. Male prostitutes.
Was the crack access for like the crack of
possibly
their butt?
Prostitutes like sweatpants.
Sure, yeah.
Just sweatpants. Look, don't get me wrong. Wearing sweatpants at the gym, wearing it at home when you want to be comfortable.
I just think it's a weird thing to judge people over, and that's all.
But that's what I'm trying to break to you. The world is a judgmental place. And I know you shouldn't care what people think, but I'm just letting you know. This is just a PSA.
I just feel like
Kirk.
It starts with my best friend not caring that I look like garbage.
No, I don't care. I'm just saying,
Kevin,
Kirk.
why do you make me feel so bad?
Kirk, here's the thing. My thing is, I want to see you get laid. I want to see you get some.
That's why I'm wearing this fucking suit, right?
That's why I think if you walk around like this, you're going to get some.
I think I might just wear this every day.
Good. You just need to cut the sweatpants.
Except when I go to the rink, I can't wear this at night going skating.
Why not?
I mean, I could. I did get yelled at by a guy. It was funny.
You know what? I want to put this as a post to YouTube in the comments. I don't know if people can actually comment on this. Do you think because look, a lot of women can sexualize sweatpants. They'll be like, oh, a guy wearing sweatpants and you can see his bulge and all that stuff.
This is big.
But I want to know, and comes down to a very simple question: if you see two men, one man in a designer suit, Armani,
like this guy,
Versace, Gucci, whatever, a designer suit, or a guy in track pants and a Bugs Bunny hoodie, which guy?
Looney Tunes.
Which guy are you more attracted to?
Let's say also the guy in the suit smells kind of like cabbage, and the guy who wears track pants, you get up close and he smells like wonderful. He smells like brownies because he just ate brownies. Is that
fine? I'll give you that.
So the
man in the suit doesn't really smell that nice.
Yeah, it's like
I'll give you that. Okay,
but it's not like you can change your option once you've made the choice. It's like
Yes.
you make that visual choice, and then you just have to know you have to deal with the cabbage guy or the brownies guy.
So the choices are stinky, well-dressed man, or a fun-smelling,
like baked cookies or brownies or something. He smells like dessert.
Yeah. Okay, let us know. I think that will be interesting. I'm just saying, like, I haven't worn sweatpants in public since I was like 13.
Yeah, I think this is more about you than me.
Because here's the thing: when I was a kid, and I'm talking elementary school, whatever.
Did people pull down your sweatpants? On
No,
you?
I wore sweatpants because you're more physically active, and then I eventually graduated to khakis. I started to wear a lot of khakis.
Mm-hmm.
Khakis.
Because the khakis were good for storage.
Yeah, cargo pants, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
But what was happening is because I kept up the physicalness, and I used to do dumb shit like climb fences, fall downstairs, and all that shit. Like I used to do stunts.
I remember your stunts.
That was during what's it called? You remember Jackass that era? Anyways, I was
Yeah.
coming. So what happened is because I wore khakis, my pants would tear constantly, and I'd be going through pants like fucking whatever. So eventually, I switched it up to jeans, straight up hard working jeans, and ever since then, I'll fucking rock jeans all day, night and long, man. Like jeans are where it is. You know?
Yeah.
Sharp dressed man, ZZ Top.
You know what I realized though is that like my work right now, like I skate and do like physical stuff, so
Yes.
I wear track pants almost every night.
That's warranted.
No, I know,
That's,
but
you're
like
doing a physical activity.
but I know, but like I went out last night though. Was it last night or maybe it was it was Tuesday? Oh, so it was Tuesday. No, so Tuesday night I went out for a friend's birthday.
Yeah.
Like after I got home from work, so it was like I waited until like 9:30, went out, and I put on like my jeans, and I was like, oh, this is nice. I feel like I got regular pants on again.
Right.
But I understand. I don't think I'm saying that I'm someone who thinks it's okay in every circumstance.
Yeah.
But I just think you shouldn't care when you want to wear it. If you want to wear track pants and have like a a lazy day,
Yeah.
just go out. Like if I want to go to the grocery store or something in track pants,
Sure.
like I don't fucking care what people think of that.
Just cover your face up though.
Cover my face, yeah.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't want to get caught.
You wouldn't want to get caught. Also, sometimes a girl gets a sneak peek of the danger zone.
Is that why you do it?
Maybe.
Okay.
No, I mean like maybe.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's always worth a shot.
that's right. Anyways,
I mean, also I think my butt might look better in my sweatpants right now. Like I like a nice little, kind of well defined tush at the moment. Like I've been working out, doing the skating and stuff, getting exercise. And the track pants I got, they're very form fitting at the back, the rear, they would say.
right.
And it just shows off the goods, man. More than my black jeans ever
Jogging
could.
pants aren't form fitting, but
No, these ones are.
Okay.
They're very much so.
Okay. But okay, since we're on the subject of dressing well, the only reason why I am dressing well today is because of work.
Yeah, me too.
And nope.
Not your work though, my own work.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
Which is working for you technically.
Sure. Okay.
I work for Kevin and because Kevin's work made him wear a suit, and I technically work for Kevin on this podcast. Is why I am wearing a suit to match what Kevin is wearing.
But because you're wearing the blazer, it almost looks like I'm working for you.
I mean, if you'd like to, I wouldn't mind.
I'm not wearing.
But yeah, sorry. I mean, like, continue with what you were saying.
Oh no. Okay. So what I'm saying is, do you ever find yourself? Because like, I kind of feel like I'm in that zone now. I think for the past, because you've known me since I was 20, right?
No, like 19 or 18, I think. 19.
19?
Yeah, because I'm 3 years older than you, and I was 22.
Okay.
I turned 22 in 2007.
Okay, if you know the math, fine. Anyways, you've known me since my 20s, my early 20s, and you've seen me or whatever. And I feel like the past 10 years, since my 20s up until now, I've struggled with this yo-yo kind of thing of sometimes there's times where I'm chasing the money. I'm working hard, going after what most people want. The financial stability, I like to call it the white picket fence life. I do all this stuff. I work, blah 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 blah. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing that half of the time, and then the other half of the time, I'm chasing my, the passions. My, stuff like, I like,
I
maybe
can relate to that.
Maybe doing stuff more artistically. Maybe just simply riding my bike, like stuff that I'm like, I don't need money. I just want I want freedom, right? I want that shit. But I feel like I'm always being pulled in those both directions. So I just want to know, do you feel sometimes you're pulled in those two directions? Like, yes, I do want to follow my passions, but at the same time, I do want to be financially responsible. Like, do you ever feel like you're being pulled?
Yeah, I guess I have. I mean, because we both went to school for, like, comedy writing and performance, so that was kind of like, I think those 2 years kind of made me change my concept of what I could do with my life to something totally different. Because I didn't really, even, like, maybe the first year, I didn't really think of it maybe this being, like, any more that I'm going to finish this course and I don't know what I'm going to do from there. Then until it became like, oh no, I have to be in comedy.
Right.
And then I've kind of gone back and forth from like, I've done comedy and then but you're broke. And then I got like, moved home and I got I wouldn't say a pretty good job. I was pulling around like $50,000 a year.
You were making a living.
I lived at home for that year, so I had like all the money I never had that last the previous like 7 or so years, right? Like sometimes I'd have like okay job. It was the first time I had like full on like all the money I could even need,
right?
And it was nice, but then I also at the same time I didn't have a creative outlet, but then I found when I moved back, it's like, well, now I gotta like, all the expenses of living again in Toronto and trying to maintain it. Now I'm trying to maintain a job and do that sort of stuff at the same time. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, and
so it's like either one is gonna suffer. So like when I had time off, like then I'll get to go do comedy or get to do more writing or whatever I'm gonna do or like podcasting like this. But then like when I'm working like full time and like the hours are sometimes at night, you can't go out and there's like your schedule is kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
But you need to work. So it's like it's like one of those things where it's like
catch-22.
Yeah, for me I was lucky before, like almost going to school was good because I was getting a lot of my school paid for like help wise.
Right.
So then I didn't have to work. I had a few jobs here and there, like I had a job at the gym and a job doing working at a restaurant for a little bit over like, and then but I didn't really need them. It was just like there to help me make sure I had other money for other things, right? And just to kind of help out,
right?
But I didn't really realize at the time how lucky I was in that sense that like you could just go do what you wanted to do and not worry about those other big finances because it's really hard to not get basically you have to, most people now you have to have something that's going to full-time employ you. And then, like, having the energy to go out. So I give more props to people I came up with than I really realized because there's a lot of comics and stuff that I would go and you could tell they were dead tired. They worked they were ones who were working and then still going out every night. So if I was like a guy who wasn't really, maybe I was working part-time or not really that much at all, and then I'm still getting the energy to go every night. It's not really, I realize it's not really as noble, I guess. But then people still credit you for going out and doing it, obviously. But then you realize that there's some people, like most people, who are trying to maintain the careers on both ends. It's like a very tricky thing to do.
And that's kind of the thing. Like I feel like there's this stigma, or not stigma, but like I feel like in the art. So I think in the arts there's this big thing that you have to be a starving artist for you to really make it. You need to give it all in and all that stuff. And I feel that is true for a lot of stories. A lot of guys that there's a lot of stories out there. The guys that made it and people that have made it because they put everything on the line. Mm-hmm. Look, you heard Stallone. Like this guy went down to L.A.
He was in a porno.
I wasn't gonna go that far, but he sold his dog.
Oh,
he sold his dog because he couldn't afford it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, he really wanted to get Rocky made. He put everything into fucking Rocky. And then he got the movie done, was able to buy the dog back at an inflated price. Rest is history, right? And I feel like that's like I feel like there is that story of you have to risk it all to maybe get it all. But I've also been like, that's the thing. When I was growing up, I've always been a thing. I was like, you know what? Take care of yourself financially, but also chase your dreams. And that's why I've always been in this fucking fine line of like. There's been years where. There's been times where, like, for me, peaks and valleys, right? Like, you've known me at times where, like, I
like owning stuff, too.
Yeah. No, I like owning stuff, too. I like having financial freedom, being able to do what I want to do and all this stuff. But at the same time, I want to be able to, like, I don't want to be, and I've told you this before, there's been times, periods, years where I just worked like a dog. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't do anything creative. Mm-hmm. I didn't have time. I was just basically living to work. Right? And all that stuff. And you know what? Those things afforded me the ability to do things down the line that I was able to do. But at the same time, it's like, fuck, like I gave up shit, right? So I don't know, man. It's a very, I don't know, man. It's a very tug of war kind of situation.
You're making me tired just thinking about it.
I know. Work till,
I think it's a trick to like pull off, but because I think the reason why there is like the starving artist type thing, because most people have to sacrifice like comics I know, like they probably don't make a living wage off of their day jobs in a year, but they know that they have to put something into the other one because that's where they're kind of banking on.
Yeah.
And so they're like I don't know, I had a friend say something about like a joke about like a survey from the government about the poverty line, and he was like, "Oh, the poverty line is so much you make per year is where you consider the poverty line," and he's like, "Oh, I'm well under the poverty line."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Like, I am, I guess that's just like
yeah.
It's like it shows how like cheap some people have to live. They have to like if you have those kind of goals in mind, and I mean you can still it's possible, but you have to kind of change like your mantra about what is necessary. Like it's like for you it would be like you wouldn't have your car or your bike or something, right? Or me, I wouldn't be able to buy a new $2,000 computer or other like couldn't buy video games or kale. I would just be eating Kraft dinner or what the fuck and just scraping by. Whereas like now I have like a bit of a savings account.
Got that kale money.
Got kale money, yeah.
Yeah.
I do all right for myself.
You shop at Whole Foods?
No, I sweet potato.
Don't know what that is, but
it's just down the street. It's past No Frills. Mostly No Frills, but sometimes the sweet potato.
Nice.
On Pacific Avenue,
Support
everybody.
Your local businesses.
Support local business and organic foods.
Local podcast, right? So
local podcast.
Got shit in.
We're just a couple local guys.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of chum heads.
Yeah, no, because so like the thing is, this when I was 20 and when I went into the comedy program, because so just to give a history, when I was coming up, I was always thought of like I was like, I had two parents and one from the other, and basically on one end it was get a good job, make money so you can take care of yourself, right? Which whatever. But at the other end, I was always getting, you know what? Do what makes you happy. Chase your dream. Do what makes you happy.
Oh, my mom never said that to me. My mom always told me all the way through that I would probably fail at comedy.
Oh, okay.
She said, you should know your chances of succeeding.
Oh, she was a realist. Hey, listen, she was a realist.
No, she's a realist, but she wasn't doing it to be mean. She just wanted to say, like, she almost didn't want to set me up for failure and being like, because she knew I was getting really into it and knew I was getting good at it. But she said, even from there, your chances, like maybe you're like the one in 1,000, right? Who is good at this, but then you got to factor in there's all these other 1 in 1,000s who all go on and do it too, and then like they're all fighting for it, and there's only a few of you who are ever going to be Jerry Seinfeld, if any of you are. So it's like I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because like some people, like it is hard to get up on stage and to be good at comedy in the first place, but then or to do anything like that, it takes a lot of like commitment and like some natural talent, but it's more or less the ability to put yourself out there and to stick with it. It's like anything, right? Any kind of art, like, or playing like in a band or something. Like you never fucking Jimmy Page from the get-go. You gotta work. People work towards it being good and being good in the band. Yeah, similar thing, I guess. So it's like, but there's some natural kind of being, right? Yeah. And certain types of people who are really project it. Like it's like you almost have to be that perfect blend now of very funny and engaging, but also like unique. And also the idea now is that like if you're good at promoting yourself, like you're gonna really rise in comedy now, because like it's almost like getting seen and heard is like it's like if like the cheat codes to that through social media or however else, then you're gonna get out there.
The game has changed now with the invention of social media and all that. It like it's almost like there is almost no excuse for not be able to put your stuff out there. But at the same time, there's now a saturation. Like anybody can put something on YouTube, and it's out there, right? Like it's not like before where you had to go through the appropriate channels, you had to get permissions and all that stuff. But so what I was saying before was that like when I was coming up, and the reason why I went to comedy school was because like growing up, and even to this day, I never found it hard to make here's the thing. I'm not saying that I'm a rich guy, but what I'm saying is I never found it hard to make a living. If I wanted something, let's say I wanted a bike, or I wanted a car, or I wanted a computer, or whatever, my mentality was, okay, find out how much that's going to take, what jobs I can do now to get that wealth, and then go after that thing, right? So I was living a very, I never, I didn't have dreams. I didn't have dreams of, oh, I need to invest, think about my future and all that stuff. My simple plan was, okay, I want that. What's it going to take for me? Okay, I'll go do that for as long as it needs to be, get that thing, and then fuck off. Like that's why, my work history, I've never lasted more than 5 years, but in those 5 years, I worked like a fucking dog because, I wanted to accomplish things. I wanted to get things, right? Buy stuff, right?
So you're kind of motivated in the short term.
That's the thing. I was always, and you know what? That even goes down to even my own work. I'm all about instant gratification. It comes down to.
Yeah, that's true.
I love instant gratification.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Yeah. I'm all about
keto diet.
Yeah.
You like keto? Eat some bacon.
It's good stuff, but
bacon.
It's good stuff.
Do you like turkey bacon?
Yeah, I like turkey bacon.
It's better for you, right? I eat turkey bacon a lot. Not a lot, but I probably have it like once a week or twice a week.
Right. It's calorically better for you, but
it's not as fat, and that's all it is.
But
it's still just meat.
There's more carcinogens in pig bacon, but
okay, so it is better.
I don't want to go down that.
So I'm not going to get cancer.
Listen, everything gives you cancer nowadays. That cup is probably full of cancer.
I mean,
it
says Coca-Cola.
Yeah, but anyways, look, basically is I don't know, man. I think it is a struggle, and I think people out there in general do struggle with, things they do want to accomplish in life, but at the same time, the reality of life is that you got to pay for things. You want to live somewhere, you want to go places.
Well, I think the funny thing too is in comedy, it's almost like a lot of comics have struggled to be relatable once they've actually made their money.
That's the thing.
So it's almost like you're a better comic when you're struggling.
Yeah.
And you're just hoping that you get famous and make some money.
Yeah.
And then you make some money, and then all of a sudden you have to fake relate to people.
Yeah.
You're almost like most comics don't understand how much a banana costs or whatever, like a Jerry Seinfeld, he's making these observations, he still makes jokes, but you're just I wonder sometimes,
don't you hate it when they take away your Porsche?
Yeah, is it when someone scratches your Porsche or something?
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's almost the more natural comedy is coming from that struggle.
Yeah.
So it's almost interesting. It's you could say the same thing about a lot of art. It's someone becomes overexposed or famous, and then the ego goes there.
Yeah.
Then it's really hard to create the same level of art because you're almost trying to what were the circumstances I made this stuff from?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it probably was that you were at this point where your life was a struggle.
Yeah.
So once it's the only struggle is to keep up with material, then or do all, now you have more work to do, and you're well, how do I fulfill this work if I'm not? I think in the same creative zone.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, imagine me, right? What if I'm all of a sudden famous and I'll have no problem getting women?
Yeah.
And I'm I've lost weight.
Nice.
Handsome.
You bought that.
Yeah, I basically bought a trainer, and then I got healthy nutrition, and I got a hot wife and or girlfriends or whatever, right? Girlfriends, yeah. I got all the girls, and I got a nice place, nice car.
Ooh,
I got everything I could possibly want.
Yeah.
Do you think I'd be as funny? Or I think I'd be able to delve into the stuff I would normally talk about.
I think you, and just like these comics and the thing, I think deep down you would still have the talent, the ability.
I think also neediness. I'd still have the needy.
You would still have the neediness.
I'd be needy to still make people laugh because that's what I like to do.
You'd be with your wives trying to make them all laugh.
I would go room to room trying to make each girlfriend laugh.
Only because they're somehow getting paid would they actually laugh. But I think
I'd try to make them laugh for real though.
Would you have real relationships with these your wives?
I'm not trying to worry about that. I'm just saying that I'm not being specific about the wives or girlfriends. I just think that I think I would still have that need to laugh.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you take your foot off the gas a bit because you're I
think so.
Oh, now I'm this handsome, well-adjusted, but handsome, successful Kirk.
Yeah.
Then maybe all of a sudden without even knowing it, I'm I don't have to try to make a woman laugh for her to like me. I can just be handsome and flash cash, and then I get what I want. Or same with anything in life. All of a sudden, now I'm why the fuck am I making people laugh?
Right.
It's almost the trigger to do it isn't there anymore.
Right.
That's just kind of what I'm curious about. I think part of me will always be needy and need people to pay attention to me.
See, that's the thing with me. I don't. I don't know. I feel like I go through ups and downs. Like, before you moved back to Toronto, I was in a complete work mindset. I was not really creatively doing anything. Well, I mean, I was going through stuff or whatever, but my mind was on, I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna get a car. I'm gonna buy things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like I wasn't a very methodical. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's brainwashed or whatever, but I wasn't a very.
Well, sometimes I can't speak for you completely, but sometimes if you're after those things, then sometimes if you make those sort of purchases or decisions, you may not be in the best position.
Yeah.
But you think it might help. Like life choice wise, you're like, sometimes those are the things you do because like it's like buying things or making choices because it's almost like it's like you couldn't identify you're unhappy, but like you think this might fulfill my need. Like if I'm having a car that's going to fulfill more than one need, it's going to be like, it'd be a transportation, it'll be a status symbol, it'll be something that I can use to get dates, it can be this or that, and then you make all these like lists of things why, and then in the end it doesn't really change much. Like it almost like it still does those things somewhat, but it's almost like the root cause it didn't fix.
You know what? And I do agree with that. Like so for an example, a few years ago, I think I'd been working for a couple of years. I had paid off all my debts from college, from whatever, and like I was completely debt free. And I think for maybe about 2 weeks, I was like, I'm working now. I have money. What am I doing it for? Right? Like there was no end game. There was no like.
So you kind of reached like the point where you're like all the reasons why you were doing the job in the first place.
I'd accomplished that mission. And didn't know what to do with it's almost like a robot. Like I have not found my whatever thing.
That kind of reminds me of when I first started stand up. Like the first maybe it was the first 2000 I started in 2007, but when I really started was like 2010.
Right.
I started I was kind of out of school at that point for a year, and I kind of took a little bit of time in between, and I went back just with the intention here in Toronto was like, I'm just going to be a comedian. And I would go to like way more shows than I used to. And I was like pressing hard. I was hosting my own shows. And I remember the first few months where I got on like every single show I wanted.
Yeah.
I did the whole circuit. I basically did the whole circuit. And then I was like, okay, I just did the whole circuit. I did every single show I could think of that I have never been on. And like, I got on at least each of these shows once. And I thought to myself, I'm like, what do I do now?
What next? Yeah.
And then I was like, what next? And I don't know what's happened. And then I basically talked to some other comedian who'd been doing it longer. And he's like, I want to send those emails again. Yeah. That was all it was. And I was like, and then at that point, like, then I think like, I stopped thinking that way, which is almost it almost was bad that I stopped thinking, because almost like I stopped thinking with any goals in mind, because the goal at first was just to do all these shows.
Right.
And then I expected there'd be some sort of reward at the end of this kind of workload, because you're working a lot of these shows for free, but they more have like a way of connecting with other comics, and they kind of have a bit of prestige. Like some of them, like the Rivoli or Yuck Yucks or Absolute or whatever, they've got something to them, and you're getting seen by people. And then I guess I was just like, well, I guess I'll just keep emailing these people like every so many months and just keep doing the circuit over and over again. Yeah. But I guess at that point I didn't, it was good and bad, because gave me work ethic, but also didn't give me any direction.
Right.
I just thought all I do now is just do these in a loop.
Right.
At like nauseum, you know?
So for me, when I'd reached that pinnacle of, okay, the goal that I had set in mind of paying off my debts and being debt free had come. When that day came, and I was like, fuck, I didn't plan. I think that my biggest thing was like I never planned for what's next. So what I did was I ended up buying the Mustang.
Right.
That's when I was like, fuck it, let's go down this fucking. I think for me, and my mentality was, fuck, I grinded and whatever. Let's go back down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
Let's go whatever, and that's what I did. And that, I mean, obviously, that eventually led down to other things, different jobs. That eventually led down to other stuff, me buying eventually a bike and all that stuff. And eventually, I learned the wise words of Biggie, more money, more problems.
Sure.
I eventually
He's
learned
a
that.
wise man.
The bigger your expenses are, the more fucking bullshit you got to put up with. But then I realized, you know what? At the end of the day, not until maybe about a year ago, because after 30, a little bit of wise, it came down to me, and eventually I learned this, that at the end of the day, I don't think it's good to live from goal to goal. Like, oh, once I've accomplished it, I'm done. I think you have to come in to realize that at the end of the day, life is like one big fucking grind. So just because you think you've reached, no, there's another fucking hill you got to climb, right? So now my thing is like, I think right now my focus is I mean, I just started a new job. Hopefully it goes well and all that stuff. But I think with me, it's more of like, I think if I can find a way to combine everything together and try to pursue everything together, kind of in a healthy and normal way of juggling it all.
Yeah.
I think that's a way to do, because like, you know what, that's another thing too. Like, I used to think that, oh man, there's no way that you can have time to have a job and, you know, maybe even pursue your other thing. But dude, I know so many stories of guys who work a 40-hour work week, but on their off time they're pursuing their thing. Like, you know, I got people who, like, you know, they want to be personal trainers. They work a 40-hour work week doing some other job, and then they go and they do personal training on the evenings. Yeah. Or I know, I mean, how many comedians do you know that, you know, I mean, we know comedians who, you know, they're able to have a job, or career, or whatever, and then they do comedy at night, right? Like they basically schedule their life so that they're able to pursue their dream, but still make a living. Because at the end of the day, if that doesn't work out, they can still live, right? And I think that's something I'm trying to work towards, and I think I'm almost seeing it. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I get you.
I'm hoping.
I get you, because I guess my thing now is like I'm seeing a bit different path for where I want to go.
Right.
Because I'm seeing like the digital, like online space, like kind of where I want to spend more of my time.
The Matrix?
Yeah, the Matrix, you know? Just get in there. Like, take the red pill.
Plug it in.
It's not the blue pill, it's red pill.
I think it was a blue pill.
It's the blue pill?
Yeah.
I think it's the red pill.
No, red pill, because blue, you go to sleep.
Yeah, you'll wake up tomorrow, and I'll be in the room. And
can you believe that movie's old?
It's 1999.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
Is it? Wait, 1999, so that's 20, is that 20 years ago?
It'll be 20 years soon, probably, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years. That's fucking old.
Yeah, it still holds up. Still looks good.
It does, but dude, like the technology and the stuff they have in there. But anyways,
the movie I think still looks good though. Like even like the digital stuff, it's kind of now it's considered cheesy, like the bullet time and stuff. But the time that was cutting edge.
Yeah.
No, I think for me it's like I kind of know what I want to do, and it's a bit different than stand up, but like it's more or less I think I have the skills. This is more or less the time. And I've kind of like I've told you about that, but it's like it's one of those things where like, as I kind of see stand up. It's like even the thing with stand up is like I don't want to invest that much time into it, like going out every night again, because it is kind of repetitive at a certain point, and your amount of like return on investment and time you get isn't great for someone at my point where I'm like I know how to do stand up. It's like different for people who are new. Because you have to like throw yourself at a bus basically for a year or two before you kind of get the traction.
Right.
And even from there, you're like, oh, you got to do it for like 5 more years to then be very, very good at it.
Right.
And then maybe if you're at that point where you're in the 7th year or whatever, and you're in between 7 and 10 years, then you could potentially be very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, but I think
it just depends on the person still.
Everybody does go at a different. I know guys who maybe they only do it for 6 years, and you're like, oh man, fuck, like. They got it down. And then guys that have been doing, you know, there's comics out there where like they've been doing it for a while, and you're like,
oh no, I know. I'm saying in general, like the rule is if you caught traction, and you're good in like the first year or two, right, and you're already getting somewhere, then like it's kind of like a golden rule. Like you're gonna get good. You just kind of need that break.
Right.
So basically, that comes in like somewhere the 5 to 7 year mark, they always say, or then like, but then the really big break would be like maybe you get closer to 10 years.
Yeah,
that'll be like when, say, if you were doing it from like the age of 20, like I was, until 30, like I am older now. But like then there's you've got so good that once you get seen by somebody, they're gonna be like that guy, right?
Well, hey man, maybe you'll be like the next Don Rickles.
Yes, Donnie Ricks. That's who I am. Kirky Hicks, right?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh no, listen. You know who made it at an older age?
Rodney
Dangerfield.
Dangerfield.
I don't know what
It's
you're saying
true.
about that, but yeah,
I
he
had,
made
I had a stroke.
No, no, because like his story was he did comedy early on,
Yeah.
was good, but then was like, no, I got to go focus on the family thing.
He kind of flunked out of comedy though. Yeah.
Yeah, family, had a business.
He,
blah blah
he
blah
wrote.
blah.
Did you
blah.
know he wrote all his jokes into a laundry bag? He ran like a laundry, and then he would write all his jokes into like a laundry bag.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, no, it's like he would just sit there and write these jokes and throw them in until he thought he was ready.
Yeah.
And he came back and he went into comedy and just like slayed it.
Yeah.
Because he had like, I mean, for sure, he had like, that's what I think I'd like to do if I could. But
come back with a laundry bag of jokes.
Yes, laundry list.
That should be a comedy special, or is that an actual comedy?
No, we talked about my comedy special, right?
What would it be?
It was called Too Fat to Fail.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's called.
But what if you? Okay.
That's what I've written it down. It's like Kirk
Fat.
Hicks,
Yeah.
Too Fat to Fail.
Yeah.
Copyright 2019. I got to film that this year.
Okay. Let's
All
get
right.
on it. Netflix.
So we're gonna film it on this camera in this room.
Yeah. We'll add the laugh
We'll
track.
do we'll add laughter like that's necessary, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, no. I think most people do like, and that's my thing. Like I've heard a lot. Like I've heard a lot of stories of people that gave up on their dreams because I mean life happens, right? Right. I mean you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that, like, especially, when kids and family enter the picture. Yeah. I don't think you want to be that person that's, like, fucking that shit up because of that. But I think if I think it's still, like, you can still have that and eventually, like, I don't know, man. I think there is, I don't think the cookie cutter, here's the thing. I don't believe the cookie cutter of you have to be a starving artist, you have to eat shit for 10 years, and then, whatever. I think, what? It is possible to still do it later in life. I think it's still possible to balance it eventually. Like, listen, man, I think for me, what I would want to eventually do is, get settled in my work, make a living, still be able to afford the lifestyle I like to live. We've talked about that before. I live a very, very simple lifestyle, sex, rock, and rock and roll.
you like the gold flakes in your milkshakes.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have little things that I enjoy from life.
Sure,
right?
no,
and
you
I
like
still
to do stuff.
I still want to be able to enjoy those things in life.
Yeah,
right.
I think
like, would you
the thing
ever
with comedy is like some people not necessarily live, I think, shitty lives. I don't know if it's on purpose or it's almost they're just programmed. That's how they have to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's up to the person. I know comics who live pretty well. Like, there was a couple of guys who had really... I think I knew one guy who had a pretty good job, and he actually ended up leaving that job, but it's got, like a less of a good job. It was, like, a high-end sales job he had. And one time we'd see him at, like... He'd wear a suit sometimes.
Was he an engineer?
No. That's not Craig.
Oh, okay.
He wore this suit. Like, we see him at the open mic. Sometimes he'd come right from work and he'd wearing this suit, and you just knew that he had a good job. He had a nice car and everything like that, and like everything was settled with him. Like, and then eventually I think he wanted more, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, he did kind of leave a little bit of that behind, but like not that much. It wasn't like he ever had to like ditch his car or his apartment or like that, like in a worse apartment. I think and just stuff like that to me is like I don't know. I think sometimes it's a constraint of the ideal of being like a starving artist, like you're saying.
I think
some people almost like unnecessarily like the guys you meet doing stand up, and if you go to their apartment, it's going to be a mattress on the floor, and like the only thing they have in the fridge is mustard, and there's bed bugs or something around. There's been bed bugs, or so that kind of thing is almost like a cliche in my head as well, because there's that one guy. I think some people can it's almost the unhealthy way of living that lifestyle.
Well, nowadays too, with the job aspects, you don't have to. You don't like that's the thing. The 9 to 5 is not the only way to make money nowadays. There are ways now with the internets and the interwebs to make money that way, right? So I think people can make, and there's side hustle. I mean, look, dude, when we were coming up, they didn't have Uber, dude. Like Uber would have been perfect to fucking. I think you could have done Uber in the day and then fucking do comedy at night. Like, I think that could have been a fucking option at one point.
Yeah, sure. Or right? you can basically do Uber. You could go do a show.
Yeah.
And then go put your Uber on and then go drive people around. Or or do the Uber Eats and like get like a bike or something and then just like bike it down. My idea in the summer before my bike was stolen was to do Uber Eats because I thought like I can get some more work and stuff. And it was just like I knew this area, my area wasn't like Hyde Park area wasn't a great area for it. But like I was like, if I go down like downtown for like 4 hours a day, I could probably get like a lot of deliveries done, like in lunchtime and stuff, like from like 10 to 2 every day. Just went down and just parked myself somewhere, like found somewhere that has like I can get a water bottle or something, or just like a washroom I can use, like a McDonald's, and just kind of hang around, have my bike ready and lock and everything, and then you could probably get at least like if you're good, I'm sure you can get like 10 deliveries in every 2 hours or less, or even like that. Like
it's a future. Nobody wants to go out and get that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's
Are people nowadays like have a Patreon for their podcast?
Maybe.
So people who are fans of their podcast could go donate to a Patreon. They can get specific.
I think you have to actually offer them something special. You can't just be like, just give me money.
Well, you could. The thing could be all of people who want to follow our Patreon. It doesn't exist yet. I'm sorry, I was just kidding about it.
Yeah.
But we can make it like a fireman calendar, just me, you, and Murray.
Sure.
And like our,
No, you know what I am down for? If there's anybody out there that has products they want to sell and they want us to promote it, I'll fucking promote the shit out of anything. I don't give a shit if it's fucking sex robots,
or a sweet potato. If the sweet potato down on Pacific wants to advertise on us, we would definitely have you.
Yeah, lubes. If you got like your own personal brand of lubes.
Yeah, scented or unscented or oil-based, water-based. We do it all.
Yeah.
Just not silicone, please. I can't endorse that.
Any strip clubs because listen, I know strip clubs are a dying business.
Yeah.
But if you want to stay in business and you need free, we'll talk about prices.
Oh, we'll talk about what you give us in exchange.
It doesn't have to be monetary too.
It doesn't have to be money if you know what I'm saying. You can say we'll dance around the subject.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lap here like a dog,
Yeah.
So I'd rather we'll let you figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're a brand of brown beverage with sparkling water called Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of that.
Don't think you want to ask them, but okay.
You think they might?
I think they got bigger.
I think like Coke it needs to rebound a bit. It's kind of fallen off.
They're one of the largest conglomerates in the world.
Yeah, but I think like they could use our support.
Right. They could. But yeah.
Samsung, where are you at? We like your phones.
Yeah.
I don't use one personally. Kevin does, but I have used them in the past, and they're pretty good.
Yeah. There's that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's the end of the segment called advertising. Potential advertisers with Kirk and Kevin.
We will do a better job once we actually have real products.
We'll stick to whatever copy you give us. Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Anything else on your mind? Well, what's been grinding Kirk's gears these days?
Not too much. I'm gonna watch the Maple Leafs tonight, maybe,
right.
And then I've been watching lots of.
How are they doing?
Trying to watch a lot. They're doing pretty well. Right. It's one of those frustrating seasons because they're very good, but also like they're not quite good enough.
Hey man, it's first year, right?
But like no, it's like they're it's third year with like the Austin Matthews Leafs, so that's like they made the playoffs the last 2 years, which was great. But this year it's like they got John Tavares, who's like a top 10 guy in the league, right? And he's playing great. But the weird thing about the team is it's not quite working. The way I not like I care that much about, like I like when they win this much, but then it's like it's just kind of frustrating because you I don't know, it's like I just don't want to see, like it's like I've gotten my hopes up for so long, and I stopped caring if they won or lost. It was kind of like I would just like to watch the games. I like the whole like hockey in Canada, and like whenever the game's on, I hear that bump ba-dum ba-dum, which is now on TSN, by the way, not CBC. So because TSN bought the rights,
so weird,
to the hockey song. Yeah. Not the hockey song, but whatever that song is. But anyway, so I think my problem is now that like they're just almost good enough, so like they'll lose to these good teams, and then they'll like. I hear all these. I watch like Twitter and go on things, and people just complain so much about them. Yeah, like they're not good enough yet. But I'm like, it's still pretty good, and I like when they play. They play way way better and their talent, their team's like incredible, but it is concerning because I'm like, I just really want them to win. I don't even care. Even if it's just 1 year. Like, I just want to see them win a cup. It would just be, I would just feel like this is the ultimate. It's almost worse than when they were bad if they're this good and they don't win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like my hopes keep going up and up, and then they just get sunk so fast.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd rather just some consistency, I guess.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how it go. Yeah, you know, there is one thing that is happening in the news that my eye picked up on, or whatever, that as you know, I'm not usually that in touch with, you know, I got bigger fish to fry, right? But there is something. Have you heard about, you know, Kevin Hart turning down the Oscars because
I think he's now hosting the Oscars now.
Is he now hosting it?
Because what happened, he went on Ellen, and then Ellen called the Oscars for him.
Yeah.
And then I think he apologized officially to the LGBT community.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if he accepted. I'm pretty sure he accepted to take back the role.
Okay.
And she just facilitated him getting back in there, and for him apologizing to the right people.
Right.
So I don't know what the current update is on that, but it looked like he is going to be back in.
So he has his thing.
Otherwise, we lost our gig to host the Oscars.
Damn it. But here's another thing, too, that I news. Apparently, and it's another story, apparently Lady Gaga is now apologizing for her song that she did with R. Kelly. There was a song, Do What You Want With My Body, right? You know, and at the time, listen, in context, that song now sparks, as you know, there's been allegations against R. Kelly, as there's always been. I don't know why it's new news to people.
So what is your overall point here?
My point is this. Why are people apologizing for things that happened years ago?
Well, see what happens.
Okay.
Is that in the case of R. Kelly, there was a TV show that was like a documentary, not positive, that was just put out on Lifetime.
Okay.
About the women and the stuff that was going on. So basically, I guess what I read about this and saw was that when this sort of thing happened, it was kind of like there were certain artists like John Legend and some other famous musicians who kind of condemned him on the actual thing. And then there was some quotes about like other people, famous people in the recent years, like Lady Gaga and some other people who'd worked with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And what did they think? And what were they going to condemn him as well?
Yeah.
Because of her being such a big proponent of women and and all that sort of stuff. And I guess she seemed like a person that like under her current status wouldn't approve of any of that
currently.
So then it's the idea is like, I don't know if she deserved to apologize, but more or less I think I thought the whole point was they were trying to contact her and for her to get a statement basically condemning him, not like for her to apologize about anything, because I don't know what she did wrong. Right. And her and him, like you're saying, maybe isn't the problem. Yeah. It's more or less, I think, with this situation, it's like, it's pretty apparent there's something weird going on, or how always has been with R. Kelly. Yeah. So I think people kind of forgot about it, and then it seemed to have gotten worse over time with all the stuff that they've kind of uncovered. So I think they just wanted people in that in that level of fame that work with him to condemn him at this point, because that's kind of what they're it's time. That's what everyone's doing nowadays. That's what people do now. They go back and look at stuff and who's worked with who, and it's just to make a point, I guess. My issue is not with R. Kelly or with it. My issue is with people right now who like, even if you go look at Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, right? And I don't know if he's whatever, but you know, listen, people are now going to pull. Look, at the end of the day, we're living in a different time where people are going to pull up. Look, here's the thing: when social media was first created, it was like the fucking Wild West. You went out there. I mean, if you go to me, there's fucking photos of me in my fucking underwear, puking over Niagara Falls, doing weird ass fucking shit or whatever. Am I ever going to apologize for that shit? Hell no, dude. Listen, I probably have racist, sexist, misogynistic. Definitely. I mean, who knows what I have? Stuff that I put out there. Yeah. We've done sketches together back in the day. Oh, you're bringing me into this now. No, we've done stuff comedically wise. Is this still this Hitler stuff we did, or maybe was it that retarded baby?
Possibly.
We didn't say. I just called the sketch "Retarded Baby." There was no retarded.
Okay, I wasn't
baby.
even going to
I
reveal
didn't
that,
write.
but
We didn't say "Retarded Baby" in the sketch, though.
Right, but anyways, what I'm saying is there's stuff.
I want to clear that up. It wasn't actually about a retarded baby.
I think.
No, it was about a guy who was holding a baby who was retarded.
To clarify.
And he was talking to the baby in baby talk.
So you want to do the sketch? You want to do sketch after all this reel? So how was it?
It was like, this is how the sketch went.
Yes. Explain.
So in my head, this was funny in 2008. Because Kevin is a retarded man, but I don't know that.
I like how you were about to say a retard.
And he's holding a baby, what looks like a baby.
Yeah.
And he's going, oh, cuckoo, caca. And I'm like, excuse me, sir, it's not appropriate to talk to your son or daughter in baby talk. It stunts their growth. And then you turn to me and go, this is how he talks. And he's holding like a balloon or something.
Yeah.
He's holding like a bun or something. I don't know. He's like, basically, it's this. I find out, funny enough, this man is just mentally challenged.
Yes, and that was the gag. That was the joke.
And we had
in 2008.
We had another one where it was Stephen Hawking. It was Craig with Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
In a car.
Yeah.
A car of people. There was a guy driving Stephen Hawking and me, and I was a gay man. And through border security, and the border security guard asks, "Do you have any fruits or vegetables?"
And
I was like, "Hello," and then Craig's like, Stephen Hawking. So that was kind of material we would do back then.
Yeah, and that was 2008. Now,
and these are all things I wrote.
and here's the thing:
things that I guess thought were funny.
I don't know if these clips or the old sketches are on YouTube or not. I don't know.
think those ones are.
Maybe we should put them up there one day.
I had a couple of our older ones from the One Rivoli show, but they were one got flagged because of the milkshake song.
Oh, okay, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the stuff we did back then. The stuff that at the time was acceptable and was funny, because some people did laugh. My thing is...
I think people laughed, yeah.
My question to you is, if someone pulled that shit out today and demanded and required that you apologized, would you apologize?
I mean, I guess the difference is right now I have nothing to lose either way.
Yeah.
But I guess if you think of it like the fact that I find some sort of, not even job in comedy, but say a professional job of any kind. Say I go to work, I work at the CBC. I'm like a pro, some sort of thing, or I work here where I'm I have a job and people depend on my job, or I'm an important person, or maybe I'm a public figure of some sort, which is probably not going to happen.
Or a politician.
And then they dredge up all your tweets and things you've done in past life almost, right?
Yes.
So you're you used to be a comedian. You said the following things about certain people of who say baby talk to other non-baby. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm then you have to answer that. And probably the correct way to go about it is to apologize at that time because you're there's more writing on whatever. But currently I wouldn't. I don't think I have anything to apologize for any of that because it's more or less. I think I believe what you're saying. It's the apology thing is overblown, and it's almost even that happened. There's no reason for it to affect my current career.
Right.
It's almost like a past thought, something that obviously wasn't great.
Right.
But it wasn't great in the sense the way you're taking it. But I would look at it like it's comedy. And then maybe that comedy didn't used to be that way where you look at it and go, oh, so if I saw a sketch on Saturday Night Live or Mad TV as a kid, and or if someone got offended about that, you could at least go back then, even maybe even later than that, be wow, that's just comedy. That's the kind of stuff they do. And we don't take that seriously. It's not
blackface used to be funny.
Was it funny? I thought it was because
1935.
I thought you couldn't put black people in movies or something. Is that why there was blackface?
No, but there were a couple of sketches back in the 1935 where.
No, I know there was blackface, but I just didn't know if it was supposed to be funny or not. They're buffoonery.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I know me personally, for the stuff that I've done in the past, the stuff that's maybe still out there, tweets, whether they be appropriate, not appropriate, whatever they are. Fuck, I probably still to this day do inappropriate stuff.
Remember that time we ate all those ice cream sandwiches on stage?
Yeah,
that was pretty clean cut, right?
Clean cut.
We should do more sketches that.
Except for fat people, because that was kind of fat shaming.
Yeah, I mean, we got fatter in the process.
Yeah. But here's my thing. I wouldn't apologize. And I'm going to make a statement now. I will never apologize for who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Because that person led to who I am today, and that person is here before you today. I am happy with who I am today, and I will not apologize for being like, if I did something wrong at that time, that was wrong at that time, that I was accused of being wrong at that time. Like if someone, or like for instance, today, if today I said something about somebody, which I do, I say a lot of offensive things from time to time. I may slip up and talk about this and that, whether it comes off as misogynistic, crazy. I mean, sometimes I talk about decapitation videos. We know that. But
You say some stuff.
I say a lot of stuff, right? And here's the thing. If I personally offend you or whatever, and you come up to me and you'd be like, hey, listen, what you said to me, said really hurt me and offended me. And, I didn't appreciate it. I would today in front of you apologize. But if I did something today and 10, 15 years from now, you come up to be like, hey, I know it's been 10, 15 years, but when you said that hurt and offended me, I would be like, well, how come you didn't say that to me then? Why now? And listen, will I do that stuff that I did then now? No. But, so what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I think like
People,
in terms
I think people don't realize people do and can change, right? Comedy does. I mean, people change.
No, for sure. I think people change, and I think like
People
I
don't
think
learn.
like it's almost like sometimes I feel like apologies are redundant because
It doesn't change the fact that it did happen.
Yeah, it doesn't change that it's out there, but also like you have to be fucking a sociopath not to feel bad when someone is offended in a genuine way.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm not offended how people get offended. Like I didn't like that online on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
But like in terms of something I said, say something I said on this or whatever, anytime I've done stand up, if there was that one person and it did really hurt and they just like were like, oh wow, I can't ever look that guy in the face again or something, and I found out about that, I wouldn't be like, well, I don't make apologies. Yeah. It'd be like that would be the time you would be genuine. You'd want them to know that that's not your intention of that.
Yeah, I would explain.
And like, but I think the way that the new sort of way of apologizing, it's almost like just admitting you're wrong. Mm-hmm. It's almost trying to get you. I don't know. It's like I don't know what it is, but I see it as like I don't know. I think I would just take it like I don't know. I guess it's basically just try to be genuine about it with people. If like I feel like that really did make an impact in any sort of weird way to somebody, but I think most times it's like people do it and their offense is almost taken because they recognize something that isn't like acceptable in their mind. Maybe it doesn't even really bother them. The idea like it's like if I'm ever like if I have fans or something like that, and I affect them in a bad way, I'd feel worse than just someone who's like not a fan of mine, just like finding a tweet and then there's some asshole, that's what they just do, is just like stir up shit and go, look what so-and-so wrote like 8 years ago or 10 years ago. Yeah. And they're not even doing it in a way because they're a fan who was offended or felt betrayed. They just do that to do it.
Right. So
some people just seem now just to do that out of the culture, not even of like offense, but just because I think people like to take people down.
That's part of the culture now. But this kind of ties in to the subject. What do you call it? So I was coming across Ricky Gervais, big time comedian, kind of a big deal.
Who's that again? Is he the guy from
created The Office?
Michael Scott?
No, Ricky Gervais was the British version of The Office. Did a lot of other stuff.
So his character wasn't also Michael Scott?
No.
Was it like? Oh, I know who it was. David Brent. Because we know a David Brent
in real life. But
is that why David Brent's name was not David Brent?
I'm not going down that.
Yeah, let's not go down that.
I'm not going to.
Nah.
Here's the thing. Ricky Gervais, big dumb comedian. He posted a tweet about saying, please stop saying you can't joke about anything anymore. You can joke about whatever the fuck you like. And some people won't like it, and they will tell you they don't like it, and then it's up to you whether you give a fuck or not, and so on. It's a good system. And I believe in that system. I think at the end of the day, you have the ability to say whatever you want, right? I mean, hold that to but you have to realize that whatever you say may hurt people, may not. And that the onus of whether you give a fuck about that or care about that is on you. So you shouldn't have to worry about whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I know the stuff that I say may be triggering, may be offensive, or whatever. But I'm saying them, and I choose to say them, right? Now, if you come up to me tomorrow and say, "Be like, I didn't really like you saying that," I'll give you my deepest, honest opinion on the situation. I mean, I have to deal with it, but I never have the intent to hurt somebody. That's just not my thing. If you are offended, I will try and explain. Listen, I'm saying it for this purpose, or whatever, But I don't think I would. I don't think I would apologize.
That's fine. I mean, I think to me, I don't really get why people need apologies for things anyway.
Yeah.
Like, does it really solve the problem? Like, I think, like I'm saying, I guess the point I was trying to make earlier is, I think to me, it's like, I think most comedians know the things they're going over like that are hot topics, and they're not, and the way they're attempting to talk about them is to not take like the punch down route. They're trying to take it like a different angle at it. Like a lot of time, remember like the Tom Segura, like when he says like retarded, and it's not really about like making fun of retarded people, but this idea that someone heard him say retarded and ended up being like in some sort of promo or something on Netflix, that these people like decided right away without even watching any of it that they would just like email Netflix ad nauseum until they got them stopped. And then he contacted some of these people because they were emailing him, and he's like, did you actually watch the special? Because I think at that point maybe that would clear things up, because some people were passing around like, or when someone passes around these news articles that have like a stand-up set but like in text,
it doesn't,
and then
translate.
At that point it doesn't translate. It just sounds like kind of like someone just being an asshole. And it's not, I don't think what comedians are all about. Like comedians in general, I think, are people who come from weird dissociated backgrounds, and the people who don't fit in. So I don't think their prerogative is to make fun of other people from backgrounds that can't protect themselves. They're not trying to punch down. They're trying to like open up a touchy subject, you know? So like I think they're trying to do it in a way how comedians do best. They go to these dark areas. And I mean, sometimes people don't always do it the best way or communicate it the best way. Look at Louis C.K. Louis C.K. made a joke about Parkland survivors, basically. And I think that the concept of his joke was actually kind of interesting, because it was about more or less like what we talk about now, like young kids being boring. Like that's what his idea was. Like he's like, when I was a young kid, all the old people were like, these young kids, they're little jerks, they're punks, right? So he said, I wonder what it's going to be like when I'm 40 something or 50, what the teenagers are going to be like. And he's realizing that they're just boring and they're crying about stuff. And I think for him to bring the Parkland thing was a bad idea, but it was like kind of like that's how comedians work. You pick like the most like grandiose sort of thing and try to make humor out of it and connect that into the bit. But the fact that people saw this joke before it was done, you know, people are passing it around online. And once you see it in text online somewhere, he said the following about Parkland survivors, how they're actually just a bunch of whiny assholes. And yeah, of course, at that point, people are going to think it was a negative thing. But I don't think that guy's point of view was ever to make fun of them in that sense. It was more or less he's just like introspectively comparing himself and his generation to the current generation. That's all the point of the joke was. And it was like, and it started that whole firestorm of all that shit again with him, like all stuff that's going on with him, but also like bringing another like, because the Parkland on its own last year was like a really big tragedy, and also like media news storm, because there was all this like shit like, oh, they're faking it. And all that other stuff. And these kids were very like, what's the word? Eloquent about how they talked about it. And they like really, you know, pushed the government like more than any other people had about gun control. So I don't know. It's like, man, I think people gotta like, I'm going to say one thing. Can I say one thing? You know, the Daily Show, right? I kind of blame them for this comedy.
How so?
Because up until the point of the Daily Show becoming like a mainstream thing, it's been on for a long time, even before Jon Stewart was on. Like, it kind of was the thing. It wasn't really big until the Bush era. But basically it was because when it became popular, and I love that show. It's a great show. But the idea of that show was that like it was the first time like that the comedy got seen as news.
Yeah.
And then now every comedy show is about news.
Yeah.
And it has some sort of has some sort of connection to politics, and they have to have a direction with the show in that sense. But I think the problem with that is that means you always have to be on the right side of everything, and you have to be socially conscious in the direct way.
Yeah.
Whereas comedy wasn't always about that.
Yeah.
It was necessary at the time, I think. I'm not blaming them at all. I'm just thinking it's kind of weird how that's how people associate. That's people's first instinct towards comedy is that sort of like, it's not even like technically satire at that point. It's just like they're just doing the news.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're doing the news with like a bit more honesty, basically.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so it's like because, and I think that maybe started something where people look at comedy differently.
Yeah.
It's not just like broad comedy or like sort of things. And if you don't like kind of like fall into this kind of like sensibility, I think, of the current kind of way they go about this, then it's almost like, well, then you realize comedy just shouldn't exist in the same thing as news.
Yeah.
Because it seems like people think of it when they hear an act and it's about something relevant like today, like maybe something about that, it brings up all the old feelings again, like that comedian is talking about facts when really they're just trying to make jokes.
Right.
And jokes aren't really ever, I think, like an attempt at hurting people.
Yeah.
And it's got the exact wrong kind of effect coming off of it.
Kirk, in the words of The Dark Knight, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Yes.
And
Harvey Dent, right?
Yeah.
Did Harvey Dent say that?
Yeah, pretty much.
He also said, "Hey, Joker, why are you wearing that sexy nurse uniform?
Did not say that.
Why are you in my hospital room? Can someone grab my robe, please?"
No.
That's not what he said?
You sound like somebody else. But anyways.
I don't sound like Aaron Eckhart, do I? I don't know. How does Aaron Eckhart sound like?
General white guy. Anyways. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
cool.
I want to wrap that up. We talked about your sweatpants problem, which I need people to make clear on that.
Also, like, you could flip up your boner in your sweatpants, too. Think about that.
Okay.
Bet you can't hide that hog in some jeans, can you? I gave you guys too much of a visual, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know about that situation, sweatpants or Armani suits. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If this is on YouTube, you can...
And if you want to share it with friends, but friends that are cool about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Don't share it to someone who's going to be like...
No, you should share it to everybody that will get offended and possibly think... Because here's the thing.
Yeah, maybe if we...
I'm making a statement. I will never apologize. So share it to somebody that will force me to make an apology.
Yes.
That's the goal.
That sounds good, Kevin. I like that.
That's the goal, because I will not apologize.
We should just really go hard with offending people. Because that's when people will really share it around.
Yeah.
So we should really go.
I may say my bad. I'll admit. There's been times where I've committed wrong, like I've just fucked up, and instead of saying, "Oh, I'm sorry," I'll just be like, "My bad."
You go like, "Oopsie,"
whoop, pretty much. Anyways, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yo.
Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
Yeah, we're everywhere, guys.
Where can they listen to us, Kirk? If they're listening,
we're on iTunes or the Apple Play.
iTunes, yeah.
Apple Play.
Apple Play.
It's a Google Play and
Google
Apple
Play.
combined. Yeah. Like Stitch Fix.
Stitcher.
Stitcher. And TuneIn Radio. SoundCloud, and we're on YouTube now. This video will be on YouTube, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You can catch me at the Tampa Improv all weekend.
Yeah.
February 13th to the 17th.
I'll be at the Comedy Store.
I'll just be in the audience. I'm not going to be on stage.
I will not. Yeah.
All right.
But we'll see. We'll see how things go. Chase your dreams. Chase that money. We're out.
Get some, everybody. Yeah.
Get some.